Rhonda. I'm going to be your facilitator tonight, and I'm from PPL. I'd like to welcome everybody. We're here to let you guys know about the new personal options program to transfer from our traditional programs. I'd like to go around the room, introduce everybody, and tell me what company you're from, please.
My name is Amber and I'm with Havard.
I'm Brad with Lynn.
Eddie with Rescare.
I'm Zachariah with JCDC.
I'm Briley with PAIS.
I'm glad y'all can make it tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the personal options program, then I'm going to open up the floor. I know you guys all have signed consents for me. I want to talk about confidentiality a little bit. I just wanted to let you know that I am a licensed social worker, and it is my duty to maintain confidentiality. I ask that you guys all maintain confidentiality as well. If I feel that anybody's going to harm themselves or is a harm to somebody else, I do have to, I'm a mandated reporter, so I am obligated to report that. So just please be respectful of everybody, and I can't guarantee that everybody is going to be maintain confidentiality, because you know Brad can go and say something and Zach's not going to know it. So I just kind of want everybody to be conscientious of what we're talking about here, since we're involving our clients. So a little bit about personal options. We're actually PPL. So what we are is a contracted agency that was started in 2007, and we were to take over the budget formation of public partnerships to the traditional services to help with the budgeting. So we have resource counseling, so we have a resource consultant on hand that can help our clients with their budgets. The budgets are still maintained the same way, so every year there'll be an IPP meeting, and we'll get together, we'll talk about the needs of our clients, and then we will then put together a budget and then divide the budget out accordingly to whatever their needs could be. Public Partnerships also does the paychecks, so they'll be over the payroll. The client will put if they're over their own program, will put the payroll in, and then PPL is an accountant firm as well, so they will cut the paychecks. There's a lot to public partnerships. It just allows our clients to have more freedom. They can do their own training. They can hire and fire their own personnel, spend their budget as they want to. They have a goods and services where they can purchase their own equipment and things like that. So basically it's just cutting out the middleman of the agency. They still provide respite care. They still have transportation. So say Zach takes the client to the store, then he's going to still be responsible for writing down the mileage requirement, and then it gets turned into public partnerships, and then you guys will still be issued a mileage check. But there's no cap on that. So where the agency would have had maybe an 800-mile cap a month, there's no cap on this. So you guys, as long as you turn them down, it's kind of based on what the client needs. So is there any questions so far about personal options that maybe you guys have heard through other people, or any kind of rumors or anything like that I can clarify real quick?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Amber.
So from the way I understand it is that the client is pretty much their own boss. So what if they need help with their own responsibilities as far as like taking care of their own money and stuff like that? Who would be the one to take care of that?
They have the option to have what's called a personal representative, and they can be assigned a personal representative. They can choose a personal representative. Some people have payees, just like our traditional services. That person can maintain the role to help with the budgeting and payroll and things like that if the client's not able to do that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Will it be pay decreases?
Now, sometimes with public partnerships, there's actually a pay increase, because with the traditional services, Medicaid puts a cap on it. So say that company has a cap limit of the minimum wage requirement. So we're cutting, like I said, we're cutting out the middleman. So personal options, the client can say, well, I can pay a little bit more than that. So they can pay up to what the state minimum is, which I think right now is like $10.88. Now, of course, $1 that's allocated for workman's comp and things like that. So actually it could be a pay increase for you.
I understand there is a budget for traditional services. what are some personal options that would be decreased?
That would be decreased for the budget.
Yeah.
If they would require nursing or something like that, personal options doesn't allow nursing into the budget. So if they would need a nurse, so they'd actually have to get that through the traditional services, and also they have to maintain their social worker through traditional services. So that's stuff that could possibly like cut your budget a little bit. But if you don't use your budget every year, if we don't allocate for what we need it for, they can actually lose part of their budget. So I've actually had people lose like $2,000 on their budget every year. So if they don't use, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's the bad thing to it. Anybody else?
Yeah, my client's under 18. Are they allowed to direct their own services?
If they're in a natural family home, the actual parent would direct their own services. We'd like them to be 18 for the requirement, but they can have a personal representative as well as if they don't have a natural parent in the home. So, we have personal consultants, and that personal consultant will be in charge of coming around like every month and talking to the client and seeing, what they need and kind of advocate for them a little bit. So that's a pretty good question. Anybody else?
So if our clients transfer to this, they lose any of their benefits?
The only benefits there's not with public partnerships, of course, they don't pay holiday pay because we're on a strict tight budget. But like I said, you can have a pay increase from what you get for your traditional services. Right now they just passed where we will get paid time and a half. But as for losing any kind of benefits, this should be about the same benefits. They still have their goods and services. They still have their transportation, and then their direct care services provided as well. So, is there any other rumors or anything, any other questions I can clarify for you? Does everybody pretty much understand that? So basically it's the same. If we recap, it's the same as traditional. We're still going to have an IPP meeting. We're still going to create a budget, and then we're going to allocate how we're going to spend that budget. That's all the same. And then pay, the only thing difference is you have traditional service where your agency, so REM, JCBC, ResCare, and all those are your bosses, where your client will be your boss unless they have a personal representative, and then they'll make your hours, or we'll sit down, everybody will talk about, who wants to work what shift, whatnot. And so it's a little bit more freedom for their clients versus being strapped down to an agency all the time. And they have a lot of red tape and a lot of rules and agencies where, you'll have basically the client's rules because it's their own home. So kind of makes it nice, kind of their own little business. So, anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't touch bases on. For our services. There's also a 24-hour representative, so if anybody had any questions, you guys will be allocated a number, and you can call into customer care services and give them your number, and then they can help you with any kind of questions. And say that Amber can't call for Zach or Bradley can't call for, it's all kind of confidential, so it'll be a pretty tight-knit situation when it comes to payroll and things like that. So we're going to take a short intermission here a little bit. When we come back, I kind of want to talk to you guys about how you think we should introduce personal options as a option to our clients versus traditional. And we're going to talk about maybe meetings and where do you think a good meeting would be, where everybody would be benefit from it, the time and things like that. So if that's okay with you, we'll take a quick intermission, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it for a little bit longer. Does that sound okay? Yep. Okay, thanks.